Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine show presented by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal Credit Union is a proud supporter of Navy athletics. And I'm now joined by one of the standouts of this year's Navy Rifles squad, Isabella Baldwin. Thank you so much for joining us. My first question for you, Isabella, would be growing up in Tennessee. I asked something similar to your teammate, Stephanie Milvain, but how did you get into rifle and where did this love really start for you?
Well, I'd say that I tried just about every sport that my high school had to offer. And I was very determined to be athletic in some way or another. And I was not finding any sport that I was like particularly clicking with. I was fairly mediocre at everything I tried. And rifle was about the last thing that my high school had. And I got into it. And my high school coach immediately told me that I could have the opportunity to do some great trainings and compete in some big competitions. And he told me that if I qualified for the precision team within my first semester, he wanted me to kind of quit the other sports that I was doing. I was also doing golf and softball at the time. Um, and I agreed, and I made the precision team within 2 weeks and quit everything else. And it was kind of started from there. My coach came in on the weekends and he helped me like kind of do a lot of different uh, trainings that helped me get more opportunities to compete. And I quickly kind of grew a passion for the sport and haven't quit since.
You also were a pretty good writer in high school. Did I see that you were first in the state of Tennessee with your poetry? You also were known for your sports writing as well. Where did that start, and where did that love for literature and in particular your writing abilities begin?
I think that's just something that's always been there. In first grade, I was trying to write chapter books, and I had really great English teachers growing up that like encouraged me to write poetry. My grandmother had a huge library in her house that really allowed me to just explore a lot of different literature. And it was something that I was always passionate about and something that I delved into really early in life. And it's something I'm continuing to pursue here at the Academy. I try to write a lot in my free time here too.
Now, are you a rhyming poem fan, or how does this go?
I try to vary it as much as possible. I have experimented with rhyming and I've done other types of forms, but whatever feels like it's challenging me most in the moment, I try to kind of dig into that and see where I can take it.
All right, Isabel, let's get back to rifle because you've had one heck of a career so far. I see the Keurig you got there in the background. How do you get your mind right when you're approaching each and every event?
Um, Normally, I kind of take a different approach than a lot of people. Some people get really freaked out by matches. I try to lean into the nerves, or as my coach wants me to say, the excitement of a match. I try to use the adrenaline to my advantage. The more that I feel like I have a little bit of adrenaline going into a match, I know that I really care and that I really want to do well. And so I lean into that. I really love competing and I love the feeling of um, trying to strive to do your best. And I think that I don't have like terrible match anxiety going in, especially because I kind of see rifle as a long-term trajectory of my matches and scores and how each match kind of contributes to my long-term trajectory in the sport,
Yeah.
not just that individual match and that individual score, and see the long-term improvement.
Well, Isabella, that certainly worked in year one. You were an All-American and you really thrived in the small bore. What is it about that discipline that's allowed you to be so successful?
I really enjoy small bore because I think it's got a lot of different variables and aspects to it. It's a little bit more complex than air rifle is because you have three different positions and you're dealing with slings and you're dealing with, I think, a lot more different components of the gun that you're changing up. Um, and it's something that I've just kind of leaned into. Like the more you've got this challenge, the more kind of exciting it is to uh, play with all those different variables. And I think ultimately rifle, like a lot of other sports, is kind of a science. You're just tweaking all the little variables until you find something that improves your outcomes. And it's just finding those little things that you can tweak during a match. And if something's not going right, then you change up something small, and then maybe it gets better, maybe it gets worse, but you're just documenting a series of trial and experimentation.
Well, Isabella, you certainly seem bound for more accolades after this season wraps up. What is it about the Naval Academy that you think has allowed you to really thrive in your first 2 years as a midshipman?
I is this about rifle specifically, or is this
It could be about rifle or frankly just your development as a student athlete overall.
I think the academy has really allowed me to develop a lot in a lot. One of the primary reasons I came here was that it's a place where they expect you to have high standards in all aspects of your life. And I wanted a school that was not just going to push me in academics and rifle, but like as my overall character, and help me to train not just in school and on the range, but on deck as well. And I think that's something that has really pushed me to like kind of get out of my comfort zone and to build relationships and think about my overall career trajectory, not just in rifle. Um, Rifle specifically, I have excellent coaches, and I'm having more opportunity now than I ever had in high school to practice and to be on the range. I only got to practice twice a week in high school, and now it's every day for 3 hours a day. And that's considerably more than I used to, more training than I used to get, which has been very helpful for my improvement.
Isabella, focusing specifically on your rifle team, who makes you laugh the most?
Oh, that's hard. Um, Probably Ryan Wee or Chelsea Glover. All of the youngsters on the team are very close, but they're two very goofy people, and it's just kind of a fun time on the range sometimes to hang out with your friends and um, make jokes and stuff, and they're very funny.
How about what is one thing you need to eat or maybe something you need to do on match day to shoot your best?
Let's see. I mean, coach always harps on not having caffeine before a match, but he also kind of um, wants us to stick to our daily schedule. So I always have coffee the night before,
Uh,
just because I feel like if I don't have coffee day of, because I don't want the caffeine like directly in my system, but I don't also want to be going into like um oh, what's it called, when you're when you haven't had caffeine in so long, you're
Withdrawal.
withdrawal. Yeah, I don't want to be going into withdrawals day of. So I always have my coffee the night before just to kind of keep my body used to it. Um, and just not having like a ton of sugar in the morning before a match or anything that's going to get me particularly shaky. You just want to have a lot of carbs to give you energy and some protein to keep you full throughout the match because it's a long day. And you might snack a little bit like halfway through, but there's not a lot that I like goes into my pre-match plan, like in terms of eating and stuff, other than those things.
All right. Well, Isabella, whatever you've been doing, just keep on doing it because you have been so successful so far at the Naval Academy. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.